Greetings and welcome back to Sentinels of the Multiverse. So in this episode, we will be dealing with the last villain and last environment from the basic set, and that is Omnitron. He is a self-aware robotics factory. He's basically kind of a Brainiac or Ultron type character. And the environment we will find him in this particular issue, is going to be the ruins of Atlantis, which is a difficulty 3 because it has a lot of things that can really hurt the players and help the villains. Much similar to Wagner Mars base. Now, Omnitron is actually pretty fun to fight. He's only listed as a difficulty 2, but I actually do kind of like his mechanic. But what we're going to do is we're going to have the variants of the Freedom 5, their own Freedom 5 variants, track him down at the ruins of Atlantis. And let's put Wraith in the middle. And then Tachyon with Absolute Zero batting cleanup. Alright, now these aren't nemesis, so we're just going to see the generic dialogue from this particular villain and this particular variant of Legacy. Offensive programming online. Destroy humans. We stand together against injustice in all its forms. Alright, so Omnitron, his mechanic is he flips every turn. But he can only flip once a turn. So at the start of his turn, he will always flip. And he's got a lot of health to tear down. But he's still, it's not just a really pounding slugfest. It's actually a pretty fun match for me. Now when he flips, which will happen on the first turn, he's going to become a rampaging robot. And in this form, he plays the top card of the villain deck at the end of the turn. And the turn after that, he'll go back to being a self-aware robotics factory. And what he does here is at the end of the turn, he goes through his trash and brings back either a drone or a component. He just reveals cards until he finds the first one, brings it back, and then places the others back in the trash. So it's usually going to be the last thing that went in there, I believe. No, they're shuffled. Yeah, villain trash is shuffled. Now, when he is destroyed, his character card is removed from play, but the heroes can't win unless there are no devices in play. And he has several devices. All of his drones are devices. And in addition to that, he has this electro-pulse explosive. He has two fairly nasty one-shots. The sedative flechettes, they will deal damage to each hero, and it's a lot of damage in a 5-man team, and take out all of our ongoing cards. And his technological singularity will take out all the equipment cards and then do lightning damage to all of the heroes based on how much equipment they lost. But unlike Citizen Dawn, he doesn't take them all out at once. He'll take out either your ongoing or your equipment usually, unless he's in Rampaging Robot and happens to draw both of them back to back. That can suck, but it can happen. Now let's get started here. So he was here as a robotics factory. We showed up in the ruins of Atlantis. We'd finally tracked him down. He switches to be a rampaging robot. He creates a disintegration ray, but he's got to power it up, so we've got time. And he also gets out a repair drone, just in case we get some damage off on him. Now that disintegration ray, all of his components, they do things at the start of the turn usually, but as if within the course of a round, if we do 7 damage to him, they'll go away. So that's a lot easier in a 5-man team to keep his components completely neutralized, because it's a lot easier for 5 people to be able to dish out 7 damage. So what we're going to start out with, let's see, what does everybody have? Now this team, it really requires a little bit of planning, because you kind of want, especially against an opponent like him, kind of want to see what everybody's capable of. Okay, she can do damage. She can get out the Razor Ordnance and do 3. She can do a little bit of damage. She could do 1, 2. And he could do 1. So overall, we won't do enough there to get rid of the disintegration ray. Unless I have Bunker bring out his grenade launcher. And that should do it. Because I was debating doing bolster allies. Oh, there's, yeah, I know another way we can do it. So what we're going to do first is get out danger sense. Because the environment can get pretty nasty. So we want to go ahead and have that in play. And what we're going to do, his power is Overwatch. He can either move an environment card in play to the bottom of the environment deck, or allow one player to play a card. Now, most of these characters have means to destroy environment cards, but it involves playing a card. So when we get one that says players can't play cards, he can get rid of it so people can play cards with this power. So actually this is really also good for Megalopolis in case of like a, let's see, the hostage situation is, I believe, the one where we can't play cards. But we're going to let Absolute Zero go ahead and get Cold Snap in play. And now Bunker's ability is a tactical uplink. He looks at the top card of every hero deck. If he reveals a mode for himself, it gets put into play. But whether or not he finds a mode, another player can put the top card of their deck in place. So there's another means we could have to dish out some damage. So I don't really need to get the grenade launcher out with him yet. I'll get the heavy plating so he takes less damage. And then he will use his tactical uplink. He's getting prepared, geared up for a pretty tough fight. And Legacy was getting a little bit wary about these Ruins of Atlantis. So yeah, I could do a back fist strike with him. I could do an impromptu invention with her, which would be a better choice, I think. Yes. So the Wraith is going to get out an impromptu invention, allows her to draw a card, and pick one of these, and I believe she had Razor Ordnance and Throwing Knives, and she also has the micro-targeting computer. So it really doesn't matter what we pick at this point. So yeah, let's go ahead and put out Throwing Knives. Put them in play. And then she can play a card. Oh, I forgot it would allow her to play a card. I should have gotten the one that allowed her to use 2 powers. That was a mistake on my part. So yeah, I'll go ahead, since she's got the Throwing Knives in play, go ahead and put the micro-targeting computer in play. Yep, that was a mistake on my part. I didn't remember I was going to get to play as well. I should have gotten something I didn't already have in my hand. Alright, so now she can get out... I could get out the Razor Ordnance and prepare for getting that, but I think what I'm going to do is actually get out a Mega Computer, just in case that does damage to people other than Legacy. And we'll use our Throwing Knives, but before I do that, her default power is Clandestine Funding. She gets to draw a card, and until the end of her next turn, whenever she draws a card, she can discard a card, and if she does, let another player draw. So when she ends up with duplicates, like I could get rid of these Throwing Knives and let somebody else draw a card. But we're going to hit both Omnitron for 3 and the Repair Drone for 3. So she was able to get out some Throwing Knives thanks to the tactical uplink and get prepared for, and she got a Mega Computer just in case the Ruins of Atlantis, she wants to see what all it's capable of. Alright, now she's going to get out the HUD goggles. That allows her to play another card. Pushing the limits allows her to play another. And a Nimble Strike and do another point to Omnitron. Now she can draw a card. So she got geared up pretty quickly, or prepared, and she can do a blitz. So it's only going to take 2 more points of damage, which Absolute Zero can do, so she's going to hold on to that burst and let them build up a little. And I forgot to go over her power. Her power is Blitz. She can deal 1 target, 1 melee damage, and then move a burst card from her trash to the bottom of her deck. If she does so, she can use the power again immediately. Now, that other card she had, Lightspeed Barrage, did 1 point of damage per burst in her trash, basically. So say she has 16 cards in her trash that are burst cards. She could do a 16-point Lightspeed Barrage, or she could use burst 16 times for 16 points of damage. But if she does that, all of those cards are moved out of the trash. Now, the thing about this is when Legacy is like galvanizing or has inspiring presence in play, or if we're in an environment with things like Obsidian Fields, if I were to do the Lightspeed Barrage, it would do 16 plus however much boost we have. Say we had 2 Obsidian Fields and a Galvanize. It could do 19 points of damage. With those 16 cards, her burst, it would do 1 point plus those 3, so it would do 4 every hit 16 times, or actually 17 times, because the original time plus the 16 burst cards. So she can really pile on the damage when she's getting adds with this ability. It can really shine. And she can pick a different target with each one. So she doesn't have to pile it all onto one target. She can spread it out over several and take out multiple opponents with it. It's actually a pretty impressive ability. And let's just have her draw that card. Alright, so this is going to take out the drone. And I just need 1 more point on Omnitron. So we are going to play our Isothermic Transducer. And his ability, Pilot Light, he deals himself 2 fire damage. If he takes damage this way, he can search his deck for an ongoing card and put it directly into play. So he's going to fire up his Pilot Light. And it's going to make him able to reflect enough cold damage to disable the disintegration ray. And I'm going to put an Impale in play on Omnitron, which is kind of fitting because that's exactly what the image is. He just impaled Omnitron with this big spike of cold. To try and disable him. Alright, now we have found a phosphorescent chamber while we're wandering around here. All damage is increased by 1, all recovery is increased by 1, but at the end of the environment turn we all have to discard a card. Now at the start of the environment turn, each player can discard 1 card to destroy this. If we don't, we're going to have to discard anyway at the end of the turn. So you're going to have to discard no matter what with this. Let's get rid of Surge of Strength. Yep, the phosphorescent chamber kind of dazzled us a little bit and we're losing some of our gear. Let's get rid of the auxiliary power source. We have a throwing knives. Let's actually get rid of Accelerated Assault, get another burst card in there. And I'm actually going to get rid of that for a reason. Alright, so now he's back to being a self-aware robotics factory. He'll bring either the drone or the component back. But he brings out an assault drone. Now this does damage based on the number of drones in play. And he brought out the disintegration ray again. So he got another drone out after us and started reassembling his disintegration ray. I am going to bolster allies since we're discarding cards. Alright, the phosphorescent chamber may have dazzled us, but yeah, we're going to be able to handle this. Alright, now I can let somebody play a card. I'm going to let Absolute Zero play a card. He's going to play Molecular Realignment. That allows him to get a card from his trash and put it into play or his hand, and then he does fire and cold to himself. Well, of course, he's going to put that null point calibration unit in play. So now when he does fire to himself, it'll react as cold. I can go after Omnitron. And then he's going to do cold to himself and heal up. So Legacy is being the Overwatch team leader, kind of directing people, told Absolute Zero he needed to step up and do some damage. Alright, so now I can get out my grenade launcher. Now, I think I still would be better off helping people get set up, because I think we have enough damage output to deal with the disintegration ray. So I am just going to initialize. Or tactical uplink. Alright, a superhuman durability, the Omni Cannon, another Razor Ordnance, a Synaptic Interruption, and Focused Apertures, which is one he does not currently have in play. So we are going to let Absolute Zero get set up. The tactical uplink, we are making him into the damage dealer right now. Alright, so I had a Razor Ordnance in my hand and a Stun Bolt. Alright, he's going to play 2 cards next turn. I'll go ahead and get the Razor Ordnance out and start really piling on the damage on him. No, wait. I am still going to use the throwing knives because that will enable the cold snap to take out that drone. Yeah, we're going to do some damage to Omnitron, and that got rid of his disintegration ray with our throwing knives. And we got a few hits on that drone that was crawling toward us. Actually, we took it out. Alright. I forgot about the phosphorescent chamber. Yeah, that makes her throwing knives quite lethal. Alright, now, she would do extra damage to herself. Right now, she'll be able to play 3 cards. With the blinding speed, I could get rid of the phosphorescent chamber so we don't have to discard. But I don't really need to play 3 cards depending on what that quick insight gives me. So I'm not gonna take the damage. First thing I'm gonna do is play quick insight. There we go. Have I taken damage? No. Alright, so we are going to get rid of the Sonic Vortex. We don't really need to hit multiple targets too often here. And we'll get rid of the Supersonic Response. And we are going to hit him with a Hypersonic Assault, so he cannot deal damage for a turn. And then we're going to blitz him. And if we really wanted to, we could pile on some early damage, but I would rather save these till I get a couple of Lightspeed barrages and then use them all up. So she did a little bit of quick thinking and got off a good hit. His Cold Snap and his Impale are going to lay on some damage on Omnitron. And so as long as Omnitron doesn't get rid of all of our ongoing cards, he's going to be continually taking damage from Absolute Zero for a while. So now I can do a Frostbound Drain. Does cold to him, fire to me, which of course can react with more cold. And then I'll fire my Pilot Light and do even more cold to him. We've got him down almost to half, and put the other Impale on. Actually, no, let's get out the Thermal Shockwave. That way, just in case he destroys all of our ongoing, I still have another Impale I can pull. And at this point, he can't deal damage, so we're going to keep this going for another round. I've got a Blinding Speed to get rid of it if I need to. And we've got a second one, so we're all going to have to discard 2 cards. He's got Danger Sense in play. I don't see me getting the Omnicannon out and making use of it anytime soon. I've got a Razor Ordnance in play. I only need 1 Blinding Speed right now. And you have the Apertures. But you're going to lose both your cards. We'll get rid of the Back Fist Strike. The Maintenance Unit. The Inventory Barrage. No, we'll get rid of the Stun Bolt. The Synaptic Interruption. Now what is he going to do? Get out a Railgun. He's starting to rampage again. And destroy all environment cards. Okay, good. He took care of that problem for me, even though I would like to have made use of those 2. Now that's going to allow him to play 2 more cards. So he gets out another Drone and an Interpolation Beam. Now this one causes us to take damage whenever we draw a card. And that drone does damage based on its hit points. And we're going to have this one hit Bunker because he's got heavy plating. So he got out an automaton drone. Basically looks like the Terminator almost. Coming after us. Started building up another railgun and got a beam in play that's going to start shocking us whenever we play a card. Or, no, it's draw a card. Alright, let's see. He's got a maintenance unit and the other thing back there. He doesn't have any cards to play. Alright, so let's get out a motivational charge and actually use it. Motivational charge allows him to do 2 melee damage and every hero heals a little bit. So we're just going to focus on Omnitron, emboldening the team a little bit, because we're going to be taking some damage from drawing cards. Oh, no, we're not. Not until her turn, because that's right. She hit him with a Hypersonic Assault. Alright, now I can get something back from my trash. Let's get the maintenance unit and put it into play. And I don't really need to do damage. I would much rather help people get a little bit more set up. Especially with that. And he automatically gets his mode card put in, which is recharge mode. So we're going to have Legacy put in the Inspiring Presence, upping our damage output, and healing us all a little bit more. Now Bunker, he doesn't have to worry about this now, because not only does he have heavy plating, he also has recharge mode, which reduces the damage he takes. Even if Omnitron could deal damage, he could not hurt Bunker at this point. Alright, so let's get out the infrared eyepiece. And right now we really want to dish out some damage. I'd love to use that to see what his next card play is going to be. But right now, with all of these bonuses, I need to get some damage going. Especially on that drone. That just about shuts that drone down. Alright, so now he can start hurting people again. But he's almost lost that beam. 1 point of damage will do it, so she will take care of that before she has to draw. As a matter of fact, even though she hasn't been dealt damage, she can still hit him for like 2 melee. And with the Inspiring Presence, it actually becomes 3. And he's going to lose both of his components. And I could play the Blinding Speed, but there's nothing to destroy, so I'm going to hang on to that. And just hit him once. I still want my burst cards to pile up a little more before I really start laying onto him, or for him to get a little lower. Alright, Cold Snap's going to take care of that drone. Impale's going to do a number on Omnitron, so he's only got about 1 turn left. Unless he really absolutely shuts us down. So let's go ahead and hit him for cold. And then target ourselves for a little healing. Because now we're going to do a lot of cold damage to ourselves. 13 points. Maybe I should have done all those blitzes with her. I might have almost taken him out. I can almost take him out right now, but that would leave me real vulnerable if he did a technological singularity. So right now, I want to heal myself because he's not. He can still pull this out. He can come back. It all depends on what the environment does and what he does. So Absolute Zero is not ready just to go all out and leave himself wide open. It's not enough. Omnitron can still fight back. Yeah, we got some Toxic Seaweed. Whenever a hero uses a power, they take toxic damage. And at the end of the environment turn, one player can discard their entire hand to destroy this card. Well, you know what? His entire hand is 1 card he's not even going to be able to play. So let's go ahead and get rid of it. Alright, he's only going to get to play 1 card, Electropulse Explosive, and he'll get to bring out a drone or a component, an Interpolation Beam. Okay, unfortunately for him, that's not going to be enough. Now this Electropulse Explosive is normally a pretty nasty device, because it does damage at the start of the turn equal to its health to every player. That's 15 points. That's a lot of damage, but we got time to tear that down, and as you saw how much damage he can dish out, he could definitely tear that down. We're going to go ahead and put out Lead from the Front and do a motivational charge really quick, and we're going to do it on Omnitron. Everybody's at full. I'll take a little bit of damage drawing a card. Yes, I want to get rid of recharge because it's time for me to do a little bit of damage. Let's get out an ammo drop. And instead of using his uplink, he's going to start firing this grenade launcher. So he can put some damage on Omnitron and this explosive. He's He's going to take a little bit of damage from the interpolation beam, but that's not going to last much longer. No, he's not. His heavy plating protected him. Alright, we're about to take care of, I think, both of them this turn. So what Wraith is going to do, let's see, with the throwing knives, she could do 3 damage to each of them. 4. An inventory barrage, she could do 10, 14 to Omnitron. Yeah. So she is just going to throw all of her equipment at him in a last-ditch effort. Oh, I guess it's 11. Yeah, she got rid of it. Doesn't have her projectile bonus. So she got Omnitron down, got rid of the interpolation beam. By basically doing a last-ditch effort and getting rid of all her equipment, because that electropulse explosive made her a little nervous. Now she's going to use this ability that allows her to draw a card. And she can draw and choose to discard a card to let someone else draw and make sure that Tachyon has something she can do. Yeah, she could have shut down that explosive from doing damage, but it's a device. We have to get rid of it as well as Omnitron. I can only play 1 card, so we're going to do a hypersonic assault just in case we don't take them out. Oh no, I can play 2 cards, and we can get another burst in there with a nimble strike. And then she can start blitzing. And I'm going to do choose for me for this turn. We're going to get rid of all of our burst cards and get these people down enough to where if I don't take them out, he definitely can. So we'll spread out the damage a little bit. Actually, we need to get this down to about 2. We need to really concentrate on that explosive. Alright, now we can go back to working on Omnitron. We're just blitzing all over the place. Alright. And she was able to weaken both the explosive and Omnitron enough that Absolute Zero can save the day. He's been preparing for this. His Cold Snap took out the explosive, and his Impale is going to take out Omnitron. So there we have it. That one went fairly smoothly. Omnitron really didn't get a lot of the things that could shut us down, and because of that, we were able to fairly well dominate. I actually find the games a lot more fun when there's a lot of give and take, when there's always the risk of loss. So if he'd pulled out one of those, or even both of them, it would have made the game a little bit more exciting for me. But that one was still fairly fun. We got to see Freedom Force just about dominate Omnitron, despite the fact that Legacy didn't really get well set up, or even do much more other than serve as an inspiration to everybody else. Bunker did a little bit of damage toward the end, but the real MVP was Absolute Zero. Like I said, he's one of my favorite characters. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.